It's Monday, June 22nd.
And I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power.
Unpopular and beleaguered, Keir Starmer is stepping down. The UK will soon have its 7th Prime Minister in just 10 years.
I have been fully committed to this team, to the city, and it's just becoming a distraction, frustrating to deal with.
Producer Nathan crying real tears as the Sens deal captain Brady Tkachuk out of town.
It's surreal, man. It's surreal.
It's history.
History. History. Yeah, Egypt, yeah!
And an historic moment in Vancouver last night with Egypt locking in their first ever FIFA World Cup win. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Monday.
So who do I blame yesterday's rain on? Do I blame it on you, or do I blame it on Janelle, who was filling in for you while I took an extended leave?
You know, I was going to say blame Janelle, but I can't blame anything on her because she's perfect in every way. So I'm going to take the blame on that one. I will.
Let's blame Bailey behind the camera.
Yeah, let's blame someone else.
She probably wore the wrong Crocs, right? Not the waterproof ones. Let's get to news. And we begin with breaking news out of the UK this morning. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is announcing he's stepping down as Prime Minister and will leave office within weeks. James Longman has the latest from London.
I will resign as leader of the Labour Party.
So that's it. Keir Starmer has announced he will leave office, and this country will have its 7th Prime Minister in just 10 years. And that is the brutality of British politics. He's only been in power for 2 years. In that time, he made it clear he was very proud of his track record in office. But really, Keir Starmer, what he did there was cast himself as someone who got Labour re-elected, electable again after so many years in opposition with an enormous landslide. Clearly very, very proud of that. And he says, with good grace, he's decided to hear what the Labour Party is saying, and they want him to leave.
I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question. And I accept that answer with good grace.
What next? Well, he remains Prime Minister today, and he will be Prime Minister for the next few weeks, because by Labour Party rules, there will now be a contest within the party, which he said is going to be in July. All eyes will be on Andy Burnham, the Labour MP now this afternoon. He will be sworn in as the new Labour MP for Makersfield, and a lot of suggestion is that he is the most popular of the Labour cohort. He's brought himself back into Parliament in order, really, most people realise, to be made Labour leader and Prime Minister, but there will be others who challenge him, so we'll have to wait and see what happens. James Longman, ABC News at Downing Street.
Continue to follow that. In the meantime, a record-setting number of Canadian executives are in Tokyo this week, taking part in what has become the largest Team Canada trade mission in the Indo-Pacific region.
Real opportunities in energy, in critical minerals, in defense, in artificial intelligence. So there's a complementary nature to our relationship.
Nearly 300 people representing 175 Canadian companies are there, hoping to forge new partnerships. Industry Minister Melanie Joly is also there, along with Defense Minister David McGuinty and Minister of International Trade Majinder Sindhu. Now, Japan is the 3rd largest investor in Canada, with more than $35 billion in goods traded between the two countries last year. Over the next few days, Ministers Joly and Sindhu will meet with government officials and executives at Toyota and Honda, and Minister McGuinty will pitch how Canadian technology can help Japan defend itself. Canada and Australia have reached a new agreement worth $2.5 billion, advancing the Arctic defense.
This capability will significantly enhance Canada's Arctic domain awareness, detect and track air and maritime threats with much greater range, strengthen NORAD by providing earlier warning and improving continental defense, and reinforce Canada's Arctic sovereignty.
The deal allows Canada to purchase key components for its new Arctic over-the-horizon radar system from BAE Systems Australia. It's part of a more than $6 billion investment to strengthen Canada's ability to detect and track air and maritime threats in the north. The radar network will include sites in southern Ontario and is expected to begin operating in 2029. It's also expected to create more than 2,300 jobs annually in Canada over the next 5 years. The union representing nearly 19,000 Canadian auto workers will start major labor negotiations today. Talks between Unifor and Detroit's 3 automakers will begin with Ford in Toronto today. The talks come as their collective agreements are set to expire on September 20th. Talks with Stellantis and General Motors are expected to follow. Unifor's president Lana Payne says there were several reasons for starting with Ford, including that Ford has maintained a Canadian footprint as the industry changes. Unifor says job security is paramount right now, with nearly 6,500 jobs lost in the sector since February of 2025. Saskatoon firefighters in the river over the weekend. Jeremy Dodge, why?
Well, Daryl, for no good reason. It began shortly before 5 p.m. on Saturday. Saskatoon fire crews responding to a call regarding a jet ski rider going over the weir near the train bridge in 33rd Street. The fire department says crews responded with a specialized vessel designed for weir operations and initially launched a rescue, but that effort shifted to a recovery mission yesterday. SFD said the plan was to search both banks and the river downstream from the rear. They did recover the jet ski, turned it over to police. Pedestrian walkways in the area were closed, the public being asked to avoid the riverbank and to contact police if they do see anything. A 12-year-old boy is in hospital after they were struck by a vehicle on Saturday. Saskatoon police responding to a call on the 500 block of Manic Road shortly after 5 p.m. where a vehicle collided with a 12-year-old cyclist. The 12-year-old taken to hospital with serious injuries, is in stable condition though, and that collision is under investigation. All right, Daryl, a new ceremonial space and sweat lodge now open in Regina.
Over the YWCA Regina, to be exact, to further support women and families, known as the Old Woman Spider Place. The space provides healing under Indigenous teachings and cultural practices, as well as a safe place for people to come together. YWCA Regina says the new center complements its current programs and resources.
We see women who are in the midst of addiction, who are just starting to listen and just starting to hear the songs, see the fire starting, and this really is a catalyst for them to start down that road of healing.
To help operate the space for the next 10 years, SGI Canada donated $2 million. It's official, the Sens are sending captain Brady Tkachuk to the Florida Panthers.
Of the third period, maybe here.
Tkachuk played 8 seasons for the Ottawa Senators. He's been captain since 2021. During that time, he had 463 points, 213 goals. In return, Ottawa will get 2 first-round picks this year, a second-round pick in 2027, and another first-rounder in 2029. What a haul. Brady Tkachuk had 2 seasons left on his current deal. He will now join his brother Matthew in Florida. The Tkachuk brothers won gold at the Olympics together this year. It was an historic night at BC Place in Vancouver. Egypt won their first ever FIFA World Cup match.
And here is Salah cutting in from that right wing. Plays the 1-2, gets it back, and Mo Salah scores for Egypt.
That goal from Mohamed Salah made it 2-1 for Egypt. The team went on to win 3-1. Egypt now leads Group G with 4 points.
We never thought that this would ever happen, so our team from Egypt coming here, also we support Canada, just to be like...
It's surreal, man. It's surreal. It's history.
History. Yeah, Egypt, yeah!
I like that guy. Egypt fans celebrated in the streets after the win. They will face Iran next in Seattle on Friday. In World Cup action today, defending champions Argentina and Lionel Messi face Austria at 11 o'clock this morning before challengers France take on Iraq at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Norway and Senegal, my Norwegians looking pretty good. 6 o'clock kickoff there. And Jordan and Algeria will finish out tonight. You can stream all the games on the mighty TSN. We got a contest. Let's give away some tickets, Kayleen.
All right, Daryl. Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan returns for its 41st season with Much Ado About Nothing and Julius Caesar, and we want you to catch a performance. Enter online at ctvsaskatoon.ca or ctvregina.ca for your chance to win a pair of tickets for a July performance. All right, let's turn our attention out to this morning view. It's brought to you by Stars Lottery. Your ticket funds life-saving care across Saskatchewan. As you can see, it's a little bit foggy to start the day in the Queen City. We are seeing visibility slightly reduced out there, so you might want to give yourself a little bit of extra time out on those roads. Temperature is not bad, but still not our warmest morning that we've seen. 13 degrees right now. Again, seeing a whole lot of cloud cover and winds coming in right now at 17 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, we're at 12 degrees right now. Clouds to start the day if you're waking up with us now. We have already seen a little bit of precipitation overnight, though. Winds coming in at 22 kilometers per hour to start the day. They're not really going to be increasing all too much in the Saskatoon area. They could be increasing down through Regina later on into the afternoon, though. Now, this comes as a surprise to nobody, but we did see some of that precipitation in north, central, and southern Saskatchewan yesterday. A little bit of a break for parts of the southwest corner and the northeast corner as well. But areas around Prince Albert, Saskatoon, Regina, and down through Estevan, seeing that rain yesterday and into those overnight hours. Currently, this is what we're looking at. So we're still seeing some of that rain falling in areas around Saskatoon, Prince Albert, down through the Parkland region as well, and down through that far southeast corner right around Estevan. Into the afternoon hours, we do actually see this picking up, and it does come with the slight risk of the thunderstorms moving in as well. So Saskatoon with just a little bit of that yellow color there, some more of that red color right around Yorkton. Regina also seeing the risk of thunderstorm today as well, and it does increase through the Parkland region as we get through those overnight hours. So be prepared for that tonight. Into tomorrow morning, still seeing some of that rain. It hasn't quite made its way out of the province yet. And again, seeing more of that precipitation picking up into the evening on Tuesday. We do get a bit of a break from the precipitation on Wednesday morning, as you can see. This is about 8 a.m. It's looking like it's going to be a very clear start to the day, but then it's into those afternoon hours. We see more of that rain coming through. By the end of the day today, we're going to be seeing about 14 more millimeters of rain right around Saskatoon, so be prepared for that. Only about 2 more millimeters on the way for Regina, about 8 though down through Estevan, and 8 millimeters expected down through Yorkton as well. Today's forecast coming with that rain and risk of thunderstorms going to be below the seasonal average really across the board. The average this time of year is about 24 degrees around Saskatoon and Regina. Only seeing that peak today at around 16 degrees for Saskatoon, about 20 degrees for Regina with that rain, 19 degrees through Weyburn, and 20 degrees through Estevan.
According to the American Heart Association, too much time parked on your seat is linked to a higher risk of heart disease, stroke, and even poor mental health. Getting more active doesn't have to be complicated. It's not about long workouts every day. It's about how much you move over the week. Small changes add up. Ask a friend, invite family members, or recruit coworkers to take a quick stroll with you. A simple walk, even just a few minutes at a time, can help your heart, lower stress, and boost your mood. Experts say aim for about 150 minutes of moderate activity a week, whether that's daily or you squeeze in an active weekend, or a combination of both. Think a few laps around the neighborhood after dinner, some extra flights of stairs, or even a quick stretch break during the day. Get up, move a little, and your heart and brain will reap the rewards. With this Medical Minute, I'm Jacqueline Lee.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
All right, well, the FIFA World Cup has unquestionably created a bond between the city of Boston and the soccer fans of Scotland.
I saw this.
Things may just get closer. Officials from Boston and Glasgow have confirmed they will become twin cities. This will create new opportunities for meaningful cooperation and mutual growth, they say. Basically, this makes the love affair between the Tartan Army and the city of Boston official.
So I know you don't watch a lot of baseball, but I was watching the Red Sox play the other night, and fans from Scotland infiltrated the arena, and somebody in the broadcast booth was brilliant and played 500 Miles, and they sang so loud for so long.
Good.
That there were highlights of it everywhere.
I love that.
It was, yeah, there's just a lot. They're trying, then now so-and-so up to bat. Like just crazy, crazy. Let's get to our question of the day.
So this is a producer Nathan special. He says it's National Onion Ring Day. Who knew? But so he's asking, what is your favorite appetizer?
Mandan, North Dakota. That's where this is the national calendar comes from. So if somebody over there, Nathan needs to work for them, creating national days. I'm probably a wing guy, I guess.
Okay, yeah, no, that's a good one. If there is a shrimp ring at the event, you will not find me anywhere else.
So what are you doing with the shrimp tails? Are you hiding them all around the house?
I'm putting every single shrimp tail on everybody else's plates. Everybody at the party gets like one or two shrimp tails.
Is it faux pas to eat the shrimp tails?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't
you don't eat the tails. I don't anyways.
Are you crushing just the whole, you popping them back like candy?
They're crunchy. I like the, I don't know. What else are you going to do with them?
Wait.
Well, apparently you put them on everybody else's plate.
No, we're changing the question of the day. Do you eat the shrimp tails?
I guess that's it.
Yeah, I can't be the only one, right?
Text us your name and or judgment to 10400. Standard message rates may apply, or scan the QR code on your screen.
Canada and Australia have agreed to terms on a $2.5 billion deal that will see the federal government purchase a new Arctic over-the-horizon radar system. The project is part of a more than $6 billion investment to strengthen Canada's ability to detect and track air and maritime threats in the north. The radar network will include sites in southern Ontario and is expected to begin operating in 2029. Canada's Secretary of State for Defence Procurement, Stephen Fuhr, says BAE Systems Australia will work with Canadian companies to develop the Canadian system. And the union for nearly 19,000 Canadian auto workers is kicking off contract talks today with Ford. It's the first of the Detroit 3 automakers to sit down to try to hammer out new collective agreements with Unifor. Current deals are set to expire in September. The latest round of bargaining comes during difficult conditions for the sector as it copes with U.S. tariffs, uncertainty linked to the future of CUSMA, and the introduction of Chinese electric vehicles into Canada. Those are your morning business headlines for BNN Bloomberg. I'm Matt Scooby.
Retirement still a ways away for our Mike Siona, but that is not stopping him from checking out the Franklin in downtown Saskatoon. See what retirement living can look like, Mike.
Absolutely, and why wouldn't you? I mean, retirement living looks like this. It's gorgeous in here at the Franklin, the Venby property. I'm joined by Megan Potter, who is the executive director down here. It's gorgeous. Just kind of give us an overview of, who this whole facility is for.
This whole facility is for anyone over the age of 55. We are a retirement home. We like to call ourselves independent living with a bit of enhancement. So think never having to do a dish again, never having to shovel snow again, but you get to have the independence over your schedule and over your life.
Pretty cool stuff. Now, they were just saying I'm a little too young, and in fact, I am a little too young. I just want to say that. I have a birthday coming up, but that's okay. This weekend, you guys have a great opportunity here for people who are looking, whether in a month or in a couple of years to make that transition. Tell us about it.
This Saturday, we're going to be having our own version of a Jazz Fest. We have live entertainment coming in, and it's a way to come in and interact with our residents, interact with the activity side of what happens here in the building, and also go on a tour if you wanted to come and see some of the rooms that we've got here, get a feel for the building, get a feel for the activities and the energy and the vibe that we've got going on.
Yeah, it's really tremendous. I always also there's a sign that says pets are welcome here. I know families are welcome here. The dining room right behind us. There's so many different ways to really make this your home, isn't it?
There is, yeah. Pets are always welcome here. Families are always welcome. Any day, any meal, they're also welcome to come join us for the event on Saturday. It is your home, and that's what we strive to make it to be.
Fantastic. Now, we're going to spend the morning here. We're going to, of course, not just talk to Megan again, but also one of the residents or multiple residents. You never know what we're going to come up with here on the mornings, but I'll tell you what, it is a tremendous, tremendous opportunity to get in here and have a look if retirement living and maybe a move is on your horizon.
Yes, pretty nice, Mike. We look forward to seeing more a little later on.
Your school day forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zone safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina, we're at 13 degrees right now and 12 degrees through Saskatoon. We have been seeing just a little bit of precipitation there, but it does seem to be on a bit of a break for the time being. By lunchtime, though, both cities likely to be seeing a little bit of that rain. 18 degrees for Regina at that time and 16 degrees for Saskatoon by lunch. Staying at 16 degrees by final bell, the risk of seeing some thunderstorms does go up as we progress into the day. 20 degrees by final bell for Regina. Again, a risk of a thunderstorm. Here's a look at those gas prices as we go to break. In Regina, the average price $165.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $146.9. In Saskatoon, the average $162.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $152.9. And here's a look at those farm markets today. The street price of canola is sitting at $681.15 per ton. The futures price $732.70 per ton. Amber Durum wheat now at $285.20 per ton, and red spring wheat $291.36 per ton. The Canadian dollar is down this morning. It's currently at 70.57 cents US. Coming up in about 15 minutes, how you can participate in this year's Explore Sask photo contest. Stay with us.
Good morning, Saskatchewan. It is 6:30. Thank you for being with us. We begin with this. The Saskatchewan RCMP says there's an increased police presence on 8th Avenue in Melville related to an ongoing investigation. Everyone is being asked to avoid areas where police are present and listen carefully to instructions. The RCMP will provide an update once it's available. If there's any imminent risk to public safety, the public will be notified. We'll continue to follow that. In the meantime, we go to the peace talks between the U.S. and Iran. There appears to be some sign of progress after the vice president took part in the first round of negotiations over the weekend, but a new series of threats from the president jeopardized the talks. Mary Bruce reports.
This morning, after a rocky marathon first round of talks between the U.S. and Iran, mediators say they're making, quote, encouraging progress.
We set the foundation. We haven't built the house.
Claiming they've agreed upon a roadmap for reaching a final deal within the 60-day window that includes a temporary communication line to help avoid incidents and miscommunication over the Strait of Hormuz, and a deconfliction cell for making sure that military operations end in Lebanon. A ceasefire and fighting between Israel and Iranian-backed Hezbollah is a central Iranian demand for broader peace talks. Iran's foreign minister saying Lebanon is the first real test. Speaking to reporters this morning, the vice president saying Iran has agreed to allow nuclear inspectors back into the country.
A major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran.
Heading into talks Sunday morning in Switzerland, the vice president striking an optimistic tone, downplaying concerns that continued fighting in Lebanon could derail the talks. The Lebanese claiming 49 people were killed in Israeli strikes over the weekend. The strikes prompting Iran to threaten to again shut down the Strait of Hormuz just days after it reopened. President Trump then warning Iranian leaders in an interview with Fox News, you close it and you won't have a country. And the president demanding Iran stop Hezbollah from causing trouble, posting, if they don't, we'll hit Iran very hard again. Mary Bruce, ABC News, Washington.
An out-of-control wildfire in BC is burning near the village of Lytton, but the mayor says she is optimistic.
There's a lot of fire smarting going on last spring and last summer up in that area, and from what I've heard, some of the rumors around is that fire smarting has, the trimming and the thinning in the area has really made a difference.
People from more than 230 properties have been told to leave their homes. The Saw Creek fire, as it's being called, has forced the closure of a stretch of the Trans-Canada with air quality warnings in place as well. However, the fire is growing away from the communities at risk. Fire officials say the lighter winds today are helping crews fight the fire. 5 years ago, you'll remember this month, a wildfire killed 2 people in Lytton and destroyed most of that community. A monument will be erected in Regina to recognize the contributions of early Polish settlers. The structure, made of large steel pipe, will be located at Riverside Cemetery. It's including a symbol of an eagle etched into the steel. Many Polish settlers came to Saskatchewan after enduring hardships during the First and Second World Wars.
We figured this is the least that we could do through all of the hardships that they've gone through, and especially having come here with absolutely nothing. A lot of their families were left behind. They all gathered together, they worked together, and achieved quite a bit, in our opinion, for the betterment of Saskatchewan and our Polish community here. Yeah, so
an estimated 55,000 people of Polish descent have settled here. Saskatchewan Heritage Park was a place to be in Saskatoon for National Indigenous Peoples Day. The park had a variety of programming throughout the day, including an educational session on powwow dancing. Visitors able to learn about the history and cultural significance of different dances.
And our regalia are not costumes. This is who we are, this is our culture, and it's not going anywhere. So I hope they see the importance and the bright colors and the beauty that our performance, we're not just dancing to dance, we're dancing to heal for ourselves, for our family, and for anyone that's watching, actually.
Jay Sutherland, who you just heard from there, is the mother of 4 powwow dancers, 2 of which showed off their skills alongside their mom on Sunday. Big changes coming to the Regina Folk Festival. On August 8th, the Exchange Folk Festival will happen in Victoria Park. Folk Festival ran in its previous form for 55 years. 10 bands are on the bill so far, including the Andino Sons and Black Thunder.
The Regina Folk Festival was a long-standing festival, always in Victoria Park. I remember going to it when I was in university in the 80s, and it was a really big part of the community. And you know, I think a lot of us who appreciate live music were heartbroken when it closed, and we really felt like there was a gap in Regina Summers because of it. So we've decided to try to fill that gap.
Exchange Executive Director John Kennedy, who you just heard from there, says that it's been a process 14 months long to bring that festival back, ever since it was announced last spring that the RFF would be cancelled. Now to a triumphant moment on the golf course, a hostile crowd giving way to an apology and a hug from Dad. Hannah Batar reports.
This morning, Wyndham Clark is a 2-time U.S. Open champion. But his win was truly an uphill battle.
The first bounce was a terrible one.
Marred by fans heckling him for his previous behavior. In what he called a moment of rage at last year's U.S. Open, he damaged 2 historic lockers at the Oakmont Country Club and got banned from playing there. A month earlier, he threw his club during another tournament, missing a worker by only a few feet. Fans voicing their disapproval yesterday, cheering when Clark's shots went wide. Multiple fans were reportedly ejected for heckling, which may have contributed to Clark nearly blowing his 6-shot lead going into the final round. He held on to win by 1 stroke.
New York didn't really like me. I love you guys. But you know, I get it. I did some unfortunate things last year that I really regret.
But this is what won over the crowd. His dad surprising him on Father's Day, taking an overnight flight to be there for his son's big win.
I'm not as angry as I used to be. I'm just happier where I'm at in life. And then I think, you know, last year I got too caught up in things that really didn't matter.
Hannah Batar, ABC News, New York.
Kayleen, this is what happens when it starts pouring rain at 9 in the morning. I got a yard mullet happening. Is this rain ever going to stop so I can finish the job?
No, actually, I'm excited to show you the 7-day forecast and tell you that the yard mullet is about to continue.
Well, you're going to know where I live if you drive around East Regina, I guess.
All right, let's turn our attention out to this morning view because it is a little bit foggy to start our day. We're seeing some of those visibility issues around the Queen City and also up through North Battleford as well. So take a look out your window. Make sure you are giving yourself an appropriate amount of time to get to where you need to go this morning. 13 degrees to wake us up in Regina, though. Again, with those clouds, seeing winds right around 15 kilometers per hour. So it's not exactly a windy start to the day. 12 degrees in Saskatoon. We're not seeing that precipitation actively falling right now. However, we were seeing that as of about an hour ago. So the roads might be just a little bit wet to start the day. Winds in Saskatoon currently coming in at 26 kilometers per hour. We're not really going to be seeing those going up all too much by the afternoon. I'll show you where we will be seeing them, though, in just a moment. Let's talk about this hot spot this hour. It is La Ronge at 15 degrees to start the day, 12 degrees through Prince Albert, 13 degrees through Nipawin, and 12 degrees through Melfort. Down in the south, we're not exactly showcasing our cold spot. That's actually Key Lake at 5.6 degrees this morning, so a cool start to the day there. Very close to that temperature is East End. 6 degrees, 8 degrees through Swift Current, 10 degrees through Moose Jaw this hour, and 12 degrees to wake you up in Yorkton. Later on into the afternoon, we are going to continue seeing temperatures below that seasonal average. The average for this time of year for Saskatoon and Regina, about 24 degrees. Saskatoon only seeing that high today of about 16 degrees, 21 for Moose Jaw, 19 for Weyburn, and about 20 degrees for Estevan. We are seeing the risk of some thunderstorms later on. Let's talk about those winds. The highest wind speeds we'll be seeing today, about 37 kilometers per hour with those gusts, and that's in the area right around Swift Current. Those areas lighting up in yellow there. Other than that, winds are going to be remaining fairly low for the day to date. Take a look at this 7-day forecast in Regina. We are seeing the risk of a thunderstorm really persisting through our 7-day forecast. Now, this isn't guaranteed for every single day, but we are seeing the ingredients existing on all of these days. Really. They are the highest for today and tomorrow. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the risk of seeing that thunderstorm does go down to about 30%. 20 degrees on Wednesday, 22 by Thursday, and 23 on Friday. The chance of seeing some rain, though, going up for our weekend. It's looking like it's going to be quite damp. 21 on Saturday with that rain, 21 degrees on Sunday. In Saskatoon, not quite as much rain in the forecast. 16 degrees today, 18 tomorrow, 21 by Wednesday. The risk of the thunderstorm, again, going down on that day, but still existing. More likely to be seeing that sun coming out for Thursday and Friday, and then the rain returning for our Saturday and Sunday. Tourism Saskatchewan's annual Explore Sask photo contest is now open, inviting both amateur and professional photographers to showcase the beauty, people, and landscapes that make Saskatchewan so unique. To tell us more about the contest, Amy McInnes joins us live now. Good morning, and thank you for your time.
Good morning.
So just start by telling us about the contest itself.
Sure. We've ran the annual Explore Sask photo contest for a number of years, and it's always popular with photographers around the province and among our staff as well. We love to see those amazing images and videos come in. Last year, it's very popular. So I think the last year, the number of entries was around 3,800. So there's a lot of folks that are out there snapping amazing photos and taking videos and submitting them to the contest. It's a real kind of celebration of the beauty of Saskatchewan and captures stories of our people and our communities as well.
People might be watching right now and thinking, hey, I have a few great photos in my camera roll, but what kind of submissions are you actually hoping to see this year?
So we invite amateur and professional photographers. So everyone's got access to a smartphone nowadays. So if you're out traveling or camping or, on that road trip, we encourage people to capture those moments and to snap those photographs. But we have 6 categories. So we have 5 photo categories. We have a people and a places category. So that's capturing people from all walks of life, celebrating the liveliness and the spirit of our communities. We've got a prairie category. So that's kind of what you assume, the prairies, but also capturing those hidden treasures like the valleys and the badlands. We've got a wildlife category, so beautiful wild animals, birds, and insects. There's lots of people out birding. It's growing in popularity, so there's always amazing entries of birds in the contest. We have a winter category, so that could be winter adventures or snowy landscapes. And we have a woods and water category, so that celebrates our lakes and our rivers and our trees and our forests. So it could be the boreal forest in the north or even the lodgepole pine forest in the southwest around Cypress Hills. And then our final category is a video category, and that's videographer's choice. They can submit a 60-second maximum in length. It can be an edited piece or a single shot, and that can be of wildlife, people, or whatever they choose.
So here's what people really want to know then. What can they win?
Yeah, well, we have an independent panel of judges, so they select a winner in each one of the photo categories. So that winner receives a $500 Visa gift card. They then take all of the winners and out of the photos and select a grand prize winner. That winner gets another $500 Visa gift card. So that helps buy, camera supplies and things like that for people who are interested. And then in our video category, it's a $1,000 Visa gift card.
Pretty sweet prizes. How can people enter?
So you can visit tourismsaskatchewan.com/photo-contest. So there's all the contest rules and regulations there, as well as the portal where you can upload your photos and your video.
Sorry, when is the deadline, Amy?
September 15th. So you got lots and lots of time to get out there and explore the province.
Absolutely. It's a good summer goal. Get outside, snap some photos, take some videos, and try to win some great prizes. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Amy.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, let's check in with Arden Lloyd now, who is also getting a taste of retired life this morning. Good morning, Arden.
Well, we are in a beautiful show suite here at the Bentley in Regina, and I'm joined by Pat, you're recently resident here, and you're on the Discovery SAS Tour. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we go on these SAS tours. We go to museums and historical sites. It's like walking through the past for some of us, but it's very enjoyable. We always find things that are interesting. We were at the Sukanin village in south of Moose Jaw, and we went on a day trip and took a picnic lunch with us, and it was really delightful. I enjoy all of the tours and the historical sites. We've been to the Bell Barn. We've been to different ones that we really enjoy, and I'm looking forward to next month because we're going to Motherwell Homestead at Abernathy, and I think it'll be delightful. I'm really looking forward to that.
That does sound absolutely delightful. There are tons of activities here at the Bentley as well. What are some of the things that residents can expect?
So I always love seeing all the residents doing their morning exercises. I know, Pat, you're always really involved in that. And maybe you can tell us a little bit about a day in the life at the Bentley.
Well, we have a great time. We start the morning with a great exercise program and a walk, and then in the afternoon we go on tours on the bus, like to the casino or shopping, or we have beanbag baseball and shuffleboard. We have social events and bingo. Everybody loves bingo, and we have Saturday night bingo, and we have entertainment every week. We have live entertainment, which we really enjoy, and the residents participate. We just recently in our craft, we made hats we decorated hats for the upcoming garden party on the deck.
Well, that sounds terrific, Pat. Yes. That's something I think all the residents will want to tune into here at the Bentley, a brilliant experience.
All right, it's time for your Monday morning weather or not. Here is your question today. How many thunderstorms are occurring at any moment globally? Oh. Is it 500, 1,800, 3,000, 20,000, or 31,000?
I don't know about you, JD, but D&E seem like they're way too much.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot, but that gap between 3,000 and 20 is rather large. I'm going with 3,000.
I'm gonna go B. I'm gonna go 1,800 just to be different.
All right, the correct answer is B, 1,800. Nearly 1,800, though, thunderstorms occurring at any moment around the world. That's 16 million a year.
Can we ship ours to like Manitoba?
No, I love a good thunderstorm. Keep them here.
I just want to mow my lawn.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
Chase, two things. One, how much did you miss me? Because it's been a while. And two, did you at some point cook hot dogs with Gatorade? What is your deal? What's wrong with you?
I missed you so much, Daryl. And yes, I did cook hot dogs with Gatorade. It was a trend on TikTok where you put them in boiling water or boiling Gatorade, and then it just like absorbs the colors, and you're supposed to get like the electrolytes from it. Perfect for beer league slow pitch. It didn't taste bad. It definitely was a waste of Gatorade. So I recommend not doing it. But someone had to try it, made that sacrifice for everyone. So the word hero is tossed around all too lightly nowadays. That's not for me to say. Coming up, though, to remember this hour, Daryl, something you did not miss was Name That Sound Going. You just missed a lot of wrong guesses, so now we're at $3,900, and that play will be coming up at 7:40 this morning.
Atmospheric entry complete. Extend the wings.
Slippy here. So far, so good.
This is Peppy. All systems go.
Falco here. G-Diffuser seems fine.
Fox McCloud and his team are back this week in a brand new video game. Nintendo is releasing Star Fox exclusively for its Switch 2 game console. The adventure launches Thursday, June 25th.
About a year ago, Lucy was in a terrible car accident. She lost her short-term memory.
50 First Dates is releasing in 4K this week. The Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler comedy classic arrives on the high-def format Tuesday, June 23rd. And anime fans can look forward to Bleach Thousand Year Blood War: The Calamity arriving in theaters this week. Fathom Entertainment is screening the first 3 episodes of the series from June 25th through the 29th. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
All right, sidebar time. Here's a simple way to have fun this summer. Imagination. So in the winter we do snow angels. In the summer now we're going to do like Disney characters on the driveway.
And you also get to spray your kids with water.
Which is very cathartic.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love that. So there's E.T.
Oh, that's actually really, really
Isn't that
good.
nice?
Cool bonus is it doesn't get messed up when you get up, like a lot of snow angels
That's
do.
also true.
And that there is essentially no cleanup with this because it just drives.
You do have to get up a little bit carefully, right? You don't want a footprint in the middle of your...
Yeah, a little. Oh, that's great.
Hey, if you want to try this, Keelan, I'm willing to spray you down.
Let's go outside.
You just lay down?
Commercial break, yeah.
I'll get out the hose. It'd be great.
Okay. Speaking of creative, this group of friends wondered what animals would sound like, singing It Wasn't Me by Shaggy.
Oh, good.
It's a stretch, but they tried. No one could keep a straight face while trying to sing as a cat, dolphin, lion, a goat to parts of the hit song from the early 2000s.
Is that a sheep or a ram up there? What is that? I never understand emojis. I have to have Siri tell me what they are. We're back right after this. It's Monday, June 22nd.
Phil Kistomer was a decent guy, and it just seems to be a modern-day phenomenon that British Prime Ministers don't last very long.
The race is on for the top job in the UK as the Prime Minister stepped down. Technical teams are now taking over negotiations between the U.S. and Iran in Switzerland after positive initial talks between those two sides.
kicks it. Done more and thought about it. The three is up and it rattles in.
And the Saskatoon Mamba make it 4 in a row. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Happy Monday.
We had the U6 year-end tournament yesterday, soccer tournament. Leave the house, it's fine. It's a little gray. Then we get there, halfway there, and it is absolutely pouring. So that is my Mateo right there. Nicole Sarr's son in behind him. He scored 3 goals for us yesterday.
Wow.
Then they washed out the second game. It was just so wet. I think even my underwear were soaked as a coach on the sideline. Okay. What are you doing to us?
I'm not doing it on purpose because you know what? I would never be doing this on purpose because my almost 2-year-old daughter all day yesterday outside. I said, we can't go outside. It's really cold out. And she was looking out the window. It's raining outside.
There's probably tears from heaven after realizing that you're winning our CFL fantasy football.
I am currently...
What position am I in? You just learned?
You're in last place, dead last place. And I'm right down the middle.
Yep.
So, I mean, hey, I cannot believe I'm beating Daryl in something CFL related.
You should be. You should be. I'm not very good. 7:01. Let's get to news. We begin with Keir Starmer stepping down as leader of the United Kingdom's Labour Party, a move that will see the country have its 7th prime minister in just over a decade.
The question my party is asking now is whether I am best placed to lead us into the next general election. I have heard the answer of my parliamentary party to that question, and I accept that answer with good grace. Every decision I've taken...
Starmer says he will stay on as a caretaker prime minister until the Labour Party chooses its next leader. Starmer swept to power with a landslide victory in the 2024 general election, but his popularity was hurt by a series of missteps.
I felt Keir Starmer was a decent guy, and it just seems to be a modern-day phenomenon that British Prime Ministers don't last very long.
I'm not surprised. I think he's done the right thing. I think he needs to step aside and let someone else take over. So, yeah, I think it's a good thing.
I'm glad, really. Just needed a change.
It doesn't matter. The situation doesn't help. It's just new face, but the same.
Probably a good idea with the way things are going at the moment. His party's not behind him. So if I was in position, yes, I would probably resign as well.
Sounds like it's going well. Former Manchester Mayor Andy Burnham, who won a special parliamentary election last week, has confirmed that he will run to succeed Starmer as Labour Party leader and as Prime Minister. A record-setting number of Canadian executives are in Tokyo this week, taking part in what has become the largest Team Canada trade mission in the Indo-Pacific.
Real opportunities in energy, in critical minerals, in defense, in artificial intelligence. So there's a complementary nature to our relationship.
Nearly 300 people representing 175 Canadian companies are there hoping to forge new partnerships. Industry Minister Melanie Joly is also there with David McGuinty, the Minister of Defense, and International Trade Minister Maninder Sidhu. Japan is the 3rd largest investor in Canada with more than $35 billion in goods traded between the two nations last year. Over the next few days, the ministers will meet with government officials and executives at Toyota and Honda, and the Defense Minister will pitch how Canadian technology can help Japan defend itself. Canada and Australia have reached a new agreement worth $2.5 billion advancing its Arctic defense.
This capability will significantly enhance Canada's Arctic domain awareness, detect and track air and maritime threats with much greater range, strengthen NORAD by providing earlier warning and improving continental defense, and reinforce Canada's Arctic sovereignty.
The deal allows Canada to purchase key components for its new Arctic over-the-horizon radar system from BAE Systems Australia. It's part of a more than $6 billion investment to strengthen Canada's ability to detect and track air and maritime threats in the north. The radar network will include sites in southern Ontario and expect to begin operating in 2029. It's also expected to create more than 2,300 jobs annually in Canada over the next 5 years. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre will be speaking to reporters again today in British Columbia. Yesterday, he called out a joint plan by the federal and BC governments aimed at boosting the development of more homes in the province.
He wants to
privatize the profit and socialize the losses. In other words, make you pay the price. This is a transfer of wealth by Mark Carney. It is a transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the have-yachts, who Mark Carney wants to bail out.
The plan involves the lowering of charges for housing developers and the conversion of more than 2,000 vacant condo units into affordable housing. Poilievre has slammed the plan, calling it a bailout for developers. He's calling for the cancellation of that program and instead wants the feds to cut red tape when it comes to approving the development of homes. Saskatoon Fire continuing a search on the water over the weekend. Jeremy, why?
Yeah, Daryl, they're continuing that search for a missing jet ski operator in the South Saskatchewan River. It began shortly before 5 p.m. Saturday. Saskatoon fire crews responding to a call regarding a jet ski rider going over the weir near the train bridge in 33rd Street. The fire department says crews responded with a specialized vessel designed for operations near the weir and initially launched a rescue. But that effort shifted to a recovery mission yesterday. SFD said the plan was to search both banks and the river downstream from the weir. They did recover the jet ski, turned it over to police. Pedestrian walkways in the area were closed. The public's being asked to avoid the riverbank and contact police if they come across any information. A 12-year-old is in hospital after they were struck by a vehicle Saturday. Saskatoon's police responding to a call in the 500 block of Manic Road shortly after 5 p.m. where a vehicle collided with a 12-year-old on a bicycle. The 12-year-old taken to hospital with serious injuries but is in stable condition. The collision is under investigation. Well, Daryl, a new ceremonial space and sweat lodge now open in Regina.
At the YWCA to further support women and families. Jeremy, known as the Old Woman Spider Place, the space provides healing under Indigenous teachings and cultural practices, as well as a space for people to come together. YWCA Regina says the new center complements its current programs and resources.
We see women who are in the midst of addiction, who are just starting to listen and just starting to hear the songs, see the fire starting, and this really is a catalyst for them to start down that road of healing.
SGI Canada kicking in $2 million over the next 10 years for that. Alphonso Davies took some time to meet fans ahead of Canada's crucial match against Switzerland Wednesday.
Yeah, the energy the crowd gave us, pushes us even more. The roar we get when we come on the pitch for warm-up, we all hear it, and we all feel it as well.
The Canadian captain was part of an event for fans at a mall in Vancouver over the weekend. Davies was, of course, asked about his health ahead of Wednesday's match and says he feels good. He was available on Thursday versus Qatar, but was an unused substitute. Makes sense. They were winning big. It's official. The Ottawa Senators are trading their captain to Florida.
Of the third period, maybe here, and it's in! On the first goal, Brady Tkachuk.
Brady Tkachuk has been with the Sens for 8 years. He was captain since 2021. During that time, 463 points, 213 goals. In return, Ottawa gets a major haul here. 2 first-round picks this year, a second round in 2027, and another first-rounder in 2029. So if they draft well, this could turn out pretty good. Brady Tkachuk has 2 seasons left on his deal. He'll now join his brother Matthew in Florida, where they won an Olympic gold medal together as well. The Saskatoon Mamba ran their win streak to 4 games last night.
Kicks it. Dunn Martin thought about it. The 3 is up and it rattles in.
That's Tavian Dunn Martin hitting the game-winning 3 to beat the Ottawa Blackjacks. He had a game-high 34 points. A pair of superstars are teaming up for a new tour, and it's coming to Saskatoon tonight.
And I'm so sick of love songs, so tired of tears, so done with
Neo and Akon bringing their Night Like This tour to SaskTel Centre tonight, promising every city, every vibe, every night a party. Special buses are running to and from that event. You can check your local listings for that. Let's give away some stuff, Kaylee.
I don't think we are, Daryl.
Oh, I thought this was a contest.
What do you want to give away? Something personal?
Well, I guess. Does anybody want my shoes?
Okay, if you want to get Daryl's shoes, please email us at yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca. This Morning View is brought to you by Stars Lottery. Your ticket funds life-saving care across Saskatchewan. As you can see behind me here, a little bit foggy to start the day, but temperatures have slowly been going up. We're now at 14 degrees in the Queen City. We do have winds coming in at 13 kilometers per hour. The sun is trying to come out. We've seen this little sun icon pop up since the last hour, but as you can see behind me, we're not really starting to see it out on those cameras quite yet. 12 degrees to wake us up in Saskatoon still, so the temperatures have been remaining quite consistent. It's cloudy to start the day. We were seeing a bit of that rain earlier on, and winds are currently coming in at 22 kilometers per hour. We're not really going to be seeing those winds going up all too much into the afternoon hours. Here's a look at that radar, where we saw that rain falling late last night and into those overnight and early morning hours. A little bit of a break for the far southwest corner and the northeast corner of the province. Other than that, though, quite a bit of rain around the areas of Prince Albert, Saskatoon, the Parkland region as well. Regina saw some of it, and Estevan as well. So here's a current picture what we're looking at. Some rain falling this morning, areas right around Saskatoon, Prince Albert, down through the Parkland region, and some areas down in that far southeast corner of the province. Into the afternoon hours, it's not going away. It is rotating and circling right back down through Saskatoon, Regina, and Yorkton as well, and also seeing some of that color, the red and the orange and the yellow, indicating the risk of a thunderstorm. Although you're not seeing quite as much of that color around Regina and Saskatoon, the risk does still exist. So just be prepared for that. Through into Tuesday, still seeing some of that rain, more of it over through Winnipeg, really all across central and southern Manitoba there. But we are still seeing some of that over here in Saskatchewan as well. A bit of a break on Wednesday morning with clear skies to start the day. But by Wednesday afternoon, we will see more of that rain returning, and it does come with the risk of the thunderstorms as well. By the end of the day today, we're seeing about 11 more millimeters of rain expected for Saskatoon, about 4 for the Battlefords, about 3 for Prince Albert, and about 6 for Yorkton. Regina, right now, we're just kind of expecting it to be spitting a little bit, but no large accumulations of that rain. Temperatures also going to be below that seasonal average today. 14 degrees for the Battlefords, 16 degrees for Saskatoon, 20 degrees for Regina, Weyburn, and Estevan, 21 for Moose Jaw, and 16 degrees on tap for Swift Current. Time now for a look at our rural forecast, and it is going to be a very damp day in Saskatchewan. 14 degrees in Lloydminster with that rain, 13 for Spiritwood, 16 degrees for Watrous, seeing the risk of a thunderstorm going up around there. Also included in that risk of a thunderstorm outlook at 16 degrees, and Wynyard up to 18 degrees this afternoon. Down in the south, seeing more of the same. Quite a bit of rain on the way and the risk of a thunderstorm. Maple Creek up to 16, 17 degrees for Rockland, 20 degrees on tap for Pilot Butte, and 18 degrees for Carlisle. Let's take a look at Theodore, where internet plans up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel. 17 degrees this afternoon with that risk of a thunderstorm. Winds coming in with those gusts up to about 30 kilometers per hour.
All right, let's go back out to Mike Ziona now. Mike, you are a bit young to be thinking retirement, aren't you?
Yes, thank you for noticing how young I am. But we are here at the Franklin, the Venby property, with Shirlene Moreland, who's one of the residents here. And I dare say I think you're a little too young to be here also. But we find ourselves here chatting and talking all about it in the recreation room that you guys have here. Talk about some of the events, because that's really what drives home for you.
Exactly. We always have lots of things to do, and they're fun things. And I'm just going to outline a few things. We have probably the best thing is we have our own Franklin bus, and we have 2 very awesome, really nice fellows that are our drivers. And if you have a doctor's appointment, they're there to take and drop you off, and then they'll come right back and pick you up. They'll even walk you to the door or right to the office. We have shopping excursions every week. We've even gone to the casino. And a couple weeks ago, we went to the berry farm and enjoyed the Saskatoon berries. We're kind of hoping we might go to Shakespeare on the Saskatchewan.
There you go. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, right, to the to our staff here. We'd like to go there. And you also do so many things in here. I know you guys have a rodeo coming up that you're involved in. We want to talk about the food as well and the people here, because that's so important.
Well, we have an excellent chef. His name is Rusty, and he makes homemade meals, and they're always tasty. And then we're really lucky because we get some ethnic dishes, such as pierogies and cabbage rolls. Another really a good event is on special days like Mother's Day or Father's Day or Christmas, whatever. We will have brunches and barbecues, and the management will often stay and serve us.
Very nice. Shirley, and unfortunately, we're chock out of time, but I know you did want to also mention the fact that she loves the management, the staff here, and all of the other residents. It's truly a unique ecosystem in here, if I can call it that, and you have an opportunity this weekend to come and check it out on Saturday. Check them out online and stay with us. We'll be back here one more time this morning.
Continuing to talk about the World Cup, Argentina fans from all over the world in Kansas City for the World Cup, but not all of them are in hotels.
We bring a little piece of Argentina here.
It's worth it. It's all worth it.
Many of them have congregated at the same campground for the World Cup, staying in tents, RVs, whatever they can get their hands on. This was base camp for their first match against Algeria, and some have now moved on to the games in Dallas, but they'll all remember what they brought a little Argentina to KC.
Cool.
So they've got a caravan going coast to coast, I guess.
I almost think that would be more fun than staying in a hotel.
Yeah. Good memory. Good memory for sure. My goodness. If you're going to watch the game, and there are a lot of them today on TSN, Crave, CTV, there's your shameless plug for today. You probably want some sort of an appetizer, and we're looking for the best ones.
That's right. So we're asking you, what is your favorite appetizer on this National Onion Rings Day? We had Lois say spinach dip with the nacho chips. Howard is very fancy.
Inflation not hitting Howard. Howard is still buying the escargot.
Escargot, yeah, and not hitting Donna either. The Greek ribs from Golf Steakhouse. Yum.
Oh.
Super good.
Yes. I've had those.
Richie R., do you want to try and pronounce that, Daryl?
Fireside treat from Montana's, yeah, that's pretty easy to say.
And Toitos from Montana's, pretty darn tasty. Debbie's saying it's baked brie, savory or sweet, but especially the sweet baked brie.
We talked about whether or not you eat the shrimp tail. Did anybody send any judgments for Jeremy Dodge for eating the whole thing?
Susan
because it's not weird.
Come on. It's not weird.
Eggs for dinner aren't weird. Isn't that a commercial?
That is,
it's
yeah.
probably running on this hour.
No, but
you're weird.
I would like people to also write in if you eat the shrimp tail.
Okay.
Because I need to know
just
if I'm
the little
the weird
ones
one
on the shrimp ring.
For not doing it.
Killian puts them on everybody else's plate.
No, I don't think either of us are especially weird. It's just a thing.
I don't know. That's up for debate. Question of the day. You can answer it by scanning that QR code. We're back after this.
Canada and Australia have agreed to terms on a $2.5 billion deal that will see the federal government purchase a new Arctic over-the-horizon radar system. The project is part of a more than $6 billion investment to strengthen Canada's ability to detect and track air and maritime threats in the north. The radar network will include sites in southern Ontario and is expected to begin operating in 2029. Canada's Secretary of State for Defence Procurement, Stephen Fuhr, says BAE Systems Australia will work with Canadian companies to develop the Canadian system. And the union for nearly 19,000 Canadian auto workers is kicking off contract talks today with Ford. It's the first of the Detroit 3 automakers to sit down to try to hammer out new collective agreements with Unifor. Current deals are set to expire in September. The latest round of bargaining comes during difficult conditions for the sector as it copes with U.S. tariffs, uncertainty linked to the future of CUSMA, and the introduction of Chinese electric vehicles into Canada. Those are your morning business headlines for BNN Bloomberg. I'm Matt Scooby.
Part of the show, it is the morning mystery. Today we are told it is a food. We have 3 clues lined up for you. Clue number 1 is this. This meal was invented in Sinaloa, Mexico. I probably messed that.
It's antojitos.
Yeah, no kidding. It consists of a tortilla and melted cheese and can include meat, vegetables, or beans. And the name of this dish comes from the Spanish word queso, which means cheese. So it's either it's a dip or it's this thing.
I don't know how to spell it.
I don't know how to spell this. Yeah.
I think I put an extra E in here somewhere.
Oh, this is not correct.
I don't think I spelled it right, and that's okay.
Quesadilla?
Yeah, I'm going with quesadilla too, but
we all spelled it very differently.
We all spelled it wrong.
Let's see what the proper spelling is, if it is in fact, and it is.
Very wrong.
I think I spelled it right.
Q-U-E-S-A.
I did it right.
Okay, I switched an A for an E. Yep. Good job.
I took 5 years of Spanish class. I did, so.
On purpose?
I did. I took 5 years of Spanish, so this makes sense that I got it right.
Ole.
Studio consideration provided by Father's Furniture, specializing in quality Canadian-made furniture.
Your school day forecast is brought to you by CAA School Safety Patrol, working together to keep our school zone safe. If you're heading out to catch the bus in Regina, we're at 14 degrees, a little bit cooler through Saskatoon, 12 degrees. We have been seeing just a little bit of precipitation earlier on this morning, but right now, just some clouds to wake you up. By lunchtime in Saskatoon, warming up to that expected daytime high of 16 degrees and staying at that through until final bell. The risk of a thunderstorm going up as we get later on into the day. Lunchtime in Regina, 18 degrees, warming up to 20 degrees by final bell rather, and the risk of a thunderstorm once again going up by that 3 o'clock time. As we go to break, here's a look at those gas prices in Regina. The average price $165.9. You might be able to find it for as low as $146.9. In Saskatoon, the average price $162.9, and you might be able to find it for as low as $152.9. In the farm markets today, we find the street price of canola at $681.15 per ton. The futures price $732.70 per ton. Amber Durum wheat now at $285.20 per ton, and red spring wheat at $291.36 per ton. And the Canadian dollar is down today. It's at 70.57 cents US. After the break, a positive step towards peace. Stay with us.
Good morning. It is just about 7:30 on your Monday. Saskatchewan RCMP say there is an increased police presence on 8th Avenue in Melville related to an ongoing investigation. Everyone there asked to avoid the areas where police are present and listen to any directions police give. The RCMP will provide an update once it is available. If there is an imminent risk to public safety, you will be notified. It's a breaking news story. We'll continue to follow it. The agency in charge of wildfire response in Saskatchewan is about to see a shakeup in leadership. CTV News has learned a senior official will retire following a review of last year's unprecedented wildfire season. Alison Bamford has reaction.
1 year after wildfires destroyed most of Denair Beach in northern Saskatchewan, many still can't describe their emotions.
I can't put words to it. Nobody can put words to it. It's horrific. It's terrifying.
And frustrating, says Dustin Tremblay, who lost his house in the flames.
There was nothing left.
Earlier this month, he called for the resignation of top officials at the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, which is in charge of the province's wildfire response.
When you make the calls and make the decisions that you made, you have to own up to them.
He's now happy to learn a senior leader is leaving. CTV News confirmed the SPSA and Steve Roberts, Vice President of Operations, mutually agreed to advance his retirement date after 20 years of service. Roberts' departure follows an independent review into last year's unprecedented wildfire season, finding the SPSA was not fully prepared, while outlining 11 recommendations to improve the province's wildfire response.
And that's what my fight has always been about. It's not about money, it's about accountability.
514 fires forced more than 10,000 people from their homes last year, including Rhonda Werbicki, who lost everything in the Denair Beach fire.
I just want people to learn, and I just don't want any other community to ever have to go through what we went through, because I really think that this could have been prevented.
The report's recommendations include planning for recruitment and training before the wildfire season begins. The SPSA says it will start searching for a new VP of operations immediately, and that replacement will help implement the recommendations. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Now, an out-of-control wildfire is burning in BC near the village of Lytton, but the mayor there is optimistic.
It's a lot of fire smarting going on last spring and last summer up in that area, and from what I've heard, some of the rumors around is that fire smarting has, the trimming and the thinning in the area has really made a difference.
People from more than 230 properties have been told to leave their homes. The Saw Creek fire, as it's being called, has also forced the closure of a stretch of the Trans-Canada with air quality warnings also in place. The fire is growing away from the communities at risk at this time. Fire officials say lighter winds today are helping crews fight that fire. 5 years ago, you'll remember, just this month, in fact, a wildfire killed 2 people in Lytton and destroyed most of that community. Now to dramatic new video of a deadly fire at a luxury resort in the Caribbean as hundreds of tourists are now stranded after losing their passports. Matt Rivers reports.
This morning, dramatic new video of the deadly beach resort fire in the Dominican Republic that sent hotel guests and workers running for their lives, killing 1. The massive blaze starting Friday morning at the Viva Dominicus Bayaibe Resort, prompting the urgent evacuations of more than 1,600 guests, including more than 170 children. Drone video capturing the sheer scale of the fire, engulfing the resort, dry thatched roofs sparking one after the next, taking with it hundreds of passports belonging to tourists, stranding them. This man running through the resort, flames surrounding him in every direction as he tells others to evacuate. 15 fire crews battling the blaze, which took 5 hours to get under control. Lori Sedano, a guest at the resort's neighboring hotel, capturing these videos of the fire from her balcony.
It was very scary and very terrible to see because it was spreading very quickly, too. You could see all of the roofs were gone. The stone columns of some of the buildings are still there. The main entrances, it looked beautiful in the beginning. It's all thatching, though, and that's all gone.
An Italian tourist, 46-year-old Francesca Valentino, dying at the hospital, injured in the fire. Italian newspapers say she was a mother of 2. At least 3 others hospitalized. The hotel saying in a statement, hotel teams safely evacuated guests and staff. However, we are saddened that 1 guest perished, and we send our thoughts to the family.
Matt Rivers, ABC News.
Continuing on, it's hot in Europe with half of France now under red heat alerts. An intense and widespread heat wave has left 49 of France's 96 regions under alert. Highs of more than 40 degrees Celsius are expected across parts of western France today, with the mercury expected to hit 43 in Bordeaux. Hundreds of schools have been shut down as a result, and there's not much relief in sight. Temperatures are expected to drop until the end of the week. The heat is also impacting the UK with a rare red heat warning for extreme heat issued in parts of England and Wales for later this week. People living in Montreal's West Island aren't dealing with fires, they're dealing with flooding.
It's all the possessions, like my son's bedroom is in the basement. Everything in this bedroom has to be replaced once again.
So the heavy rain, look at your screen, came down on Saturday, leading to flash flooding. Hundreds of homes were left damaged. At one point, 21,000 customers were left without power. Water was ankle deep at one grocery store, and some drivers were left stranded. Some scary moments for a pregnant woman who was stuck in her car as the water rose, calling out for help. There she was in that car right there. It appears the first round of peace talks between the U.S. and Iran have wrapped up on a positive. Mediators say that talks have made, quote, encouraging progress. Iran's prime minister says sanctions on the country's oil have been waived and its frozen assets were released. In a joint statement this morning, Qatar and Pakistan say a high-level committee has agreed to a roadmap for reaching a final deal in 60 days.
That is a major milestone for the American people and the first step in permanently denuclearizing or permanently ending a nuclear weapons program in Iran. And that's exactly what we wanted to do. That's exactly what we asked to happen. We made a lot of great progress on other nuclear talks.
New this morning, economist and former U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Alan Greenspan has died. Greenspan served 5 terms as Fed chair under 4 presidents from 1987 to 2006. He's credited with guiding the U.S. economy during the boom years of the 90s. He also received blame, or some of it, for favoring deregulation, which opened the door to the 2008 financial meltdown. A statement from his family says Greenspan died from complications of Parkinson's disease. Alan Greenspan was 100 years old. The 18th annual Saskatoon Motorcycle Ride for Dad was hosted Saturday. This annual event raises awareness for prostate cancer and funds for research. Almost 250 bikes rolled into the Western Development Museum parking lot. Riders then took to the streets to Prince Albert and back. Now, according to one event organizer, the ride has been steadily growing since its inception and continues to do so.
It's a great group. Everybody's excited, energized to be here. We're all here for the same reason, and it's a very unique situation. People get behind a cause, rally for the cause, and the impact is amazing.
Since the inception of the event in 2009, the Saskatoon Ride for Dad has raised more than $55,000 for prostate cancer research. Let's get to the 7-day forecast. There is a little window where it might be nice out there.
A tiny little window, yeah. But this morning view is brought to you by Stars Lottery. Your ticket funds life-saving care across Saskatchewan. We're seeing some of that fog starting to lift out there this morning. The sun is trying to come out. We're still at 14 degrees, so that's not a bad start to the day, especially considering how low the winds are. So it's not a bad idea to maybe get out if you want to this morning. In Saskatoon, we have seen a little bit of that precipitation, so you're going to smell that when you walk out the door this morning. But we are seeing a little bit of a break right now from that. Mainly just that cloud cover to start the day. 12 degrees, winds coming in at 22 kilometers per hour. That rain is going to be returning for your afternoon in Saskatoon, though. Let's take a look at everywhere else with those current temperatures. The hot spot is still La Ronge. They've been holding that title steady this morning. 15 degrees, 12 degrees through Prince Albert, 14 degrees in Nipawin, and 12 degrees in Melfort. Down in the south, the cold spot in the province is East End at 7 degrees now. 9 degrees through Swift Current, 12 degrees in Moose Jaw, 12 degrees in Yorkton, 14 degrees to wake you up in Estevan. Later on into the afternoon hours, temperatures will remain below that seasonal average, which, to put that into context for you, is about 24 degrees. Saskatoon only peaking right around 16 degrees this afternoon, about 18 for Yorkton, 15 for Prince Albert, and 14 for the Battlefords. Down through the southeast corner, we are going to be seeing a little bit more of that warmth, 20 degrees for Estevan, Weyburn, and Regina. And we're also seeing the chance of getting that rain going down for areas down in the south. It's mainly still high for areas throughout central Saskatchewan. Again, seeing that risk of some thunderstorms as well. Winds are going to be not so bad today, fairly low. However, those areas in the southwest corner lighting up in yellow could be seeing them surpassing 40 kilometers per hour. Now, the 7-day forecast, it looks a little daunting to look at, but let me break it down for you. So today and tomorrow, when the chances of seeing that risk of a thunderstorm are the highest. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it actually goes down to below 30%. So we could be seeing a break that day. It's just that the ingredients still exist, so we're going to warn you of it. But again, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we could be seeing a break from that. Saturday and Sunday, the chance of seeing the rain goes right back up again. So 21 on Saturday, 21 on Sunday. And again, it's expected to be a very damp weekend. In Saskatoon, the risk of a thunderstorm does continue on through Wednesday, with, again, it going down, the chance on Wednesday, but it does still exist. Thursday and Friday, higher likelihood of seeing some of that sun coming out and the rain returning for our Saturday and Sunday. What's happening in our community. Moose Jaw's Western Development Museum is marking its 50th anniversary on June 26th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There's free admission, but donations are welcome. A social dance is on June 26th, 7:30 to 11 p.m. at 2134 Winnipeg Street. Call 306-529-6381. The Esterhazy Community Market is June 26th from 8:45 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 701 Park Avenue in Esterhazy. Email Renee Anderson 76 at gmail.com. And the Prairie Peony Society Show is June 27th, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at the Regina Senior Citizen Center. Email the Prairie Peony Society at gmail.com. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Canada Day right around the corner. If you're looking for something to do, you can head out to Balgony. The Elks once again hosting their Family Fun Day, a whole day of wild and fun stuff, including a tractor pull. Wayne Keel, Barry Shaboski with us this morning. Thank you so much, fellas, for being here.
Well, great to be here with you. It's
thanks for having us.
It's a wonderful opportunity. Thank you for having us. Yes.
Barry, remind everybody out there what the Elks are all about.
Well, we're a service organization that works to meet the needs of the community with a special focus on those who have auditory and speech issues and that kind of thing. So we support like the local Cubs and Scouts, for instance, dinner theater, a lot of the different local causes and that. So.
Yeah, my dad was the Grand Exalted Ruler way back in the early 2000s, so just as a point of reference. Wayne, let's get into it. You've got all kinds of stuff going on. I'm not going to be able to peel my kids out of your bouncy house.
Well, it's been a great day, and we're so looking forward again to it coming up. Again, we started off with a pancake breakfast for, last week we fed over 600. The parade, we had about 70 or 80 entries last year in our parade. And then there's all kinds of activities that go on in the arena. Activities for children. We have bouncy castles. We've got cornhole in there. We've got curling in there
the rocks and rings.
Floor rocks and rings. Yeah, we're going to do it in the middle of summer there. And then we've got our pool is going to be open again. There's a fee this year for that I'll be charging, but a beautiful pool. I'm not sure how many people have had a chance to see it, but it is.
We live out there in the city.
It's a great pool.
Barry, what's your favorite part of the day? I mean, obviously give a shout out to your volunteers, because you can't do this without them.
Absolutely, all our volunteers, the Elks, all our sponsors, for instance. But my favorite part is the fact that there's an area in there where all the families gather, and just to see the kids having a great time. That's one of our focuses, is make it a family-oriented, very affordable and everything. And so yeah, just see people, you know, getting together as a family unit and not going off somewhere else and that kind of thing. So it's a lot of fun.
There's a schedule up on your screen, so you can take a little look at it. And it all ends with the antique tractor pull, Wayne. This is a favorite, and it is loud.
It's amazing. We had close to 600 people out there last year, and it's been a great event for not only our area but all over the southern part of the province. People are coming for watch old tractors snort away on the ground. So
you're still doing the fireworks, right?
Yes, absolutely, and thanks to the fire department for putting that on as well. And yeah, it's a great 20-minute show usually, and it's. I think it's top class.
We like to brag about it being better than Regina. So just come on out, just come on out and enjoy it.
Voices are loud from them.
Yeah. And the other thing we're very appreciative of is all our sponsors that have helped us support this particular activity. And we're very proud of the fact that it's become a gathering of families.
Of course.
And we're very proud of that, and we look forward to that as well again this year.
Wayne, Barry, thank you so much for this, and you can learn more about the Elks and the fine work that they do on their website.
Great. Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
All right, let's head out once more and track down Arden Lloyd this morning. Arden, good morning.
Well, we have moved from the show suite to a lived-in suite. I'm with Pat and Aaron. And Aaron, can you tell us a little bit about what the move-in process to the Bentley Retirement Home is about?
Well, we moved Mom in last December, and it was amazing. The staff here were incredibly accommodating for us when we moved my mom in, and it was right at Christmas, so it was pretty chaotic just that time of year. I think there was even a blizzard that day, but we found the perfect suite for Mom, and the rest is history. We moved in, and the staff were amazing.
Well, and Pat, love the area. I love what you've done with the artwork. Is the suite your favorite part about the Bentley here?
Absolutely. No, I love the people here too. I'm getting to know a whole lot of really wonderful people. But this suite did get to me. It got to my heart. It was as soon as we walked in the door, it was the openness, but it was also the staff here too. I think that made a whole lot of difference because there was a willingness to help me move in, to help me feel comfortable. Although when it came time to hang all the paintings that I have accumulated over the years, I didn't see a whole lot of staff stepping forward to sort of give me. But I'm pretty sure if I had asked, they would have come and helped. No, I love it here. This is beautiful.
That's delightful. And Shauna, how can people get into one of these suites?
For sure. Thanks, Arden. So we do have suites starting at $2,995 a month. That's with all your food and all the beautiful amenities here at the Bentley. You can come into the garden party this Friday from 1 till 4. Everyone's welcome. It's a great time to see the spaces. Or you can book a private tour, and we'll love to tour you through the Bentley so you can see what suite touches your heart, just like what Pat found.
Well, it's absolutely terrific here, and pets are allowed as well in the suites. Marvelous Miss Maisie has eluded us this morning. She is a little skittish, but it's a pet-friendly area. It's a lovely balcony that you get great views from here at the Bentley. And don't forget, this Friday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., garden party, where you can come on down, take a tour, find out everything there is to know about this wonderful place.
If you have a milestone coming up, send us an email to yourmorningsaskatchewan@ctv.ca or simply scan that QR code on your screen. Please send those in at least one day in advance.
Milestones, brought to you by Harbor Landing Village, an award-winning senior care and living community in Regina.
So, well, you're about to tell me that somebody just called in and finally busted the bank on that name that sound, right?
Oh, I wish I could say that. We were talking to Peter. What he thought the sound was cleaning a golf ball in one of those washers. Was not the answer, though, so that goes on to our ever-growing list of incorrect guesses, which you can find at purecountry927.ca. And we'll go up to 39 to 50 this afternoon. 4:40 with Brandon is when you can play. So wherever you are watching in the province right now, get us going with the iHeartRadio app. And on the way for that, too, when you listen to us for 10 consecutive minutes, we just started this contest today. That could get you off to Montreal for the Lasso Music Festival. The lineup for this is stacked. Thomas Rhett, John Party, Carly Pierce, Old Dominion, Mumford & Son, just to name a few too. But every day you can enter that for the next couple weeks here. 10 minutes consecutive listing. You'll be prompted to enter. Good to go.
You always get to give stuff away. Chase, thank you.
Thanks, Daryl. We'll see you tomorrow.
Doesn't want to play with toys anymore. She needs me.
Playtime may be changing, but the love for Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and Jessie is stronger than ever. Toy Story 5 brought in $160 million this weekend, becoming the biggest domestic debut of 2026. It's the second highest opening in Disney Pixar history. Disney is the parent company of ABC News.
What did you steal?
Secrets. Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day landed in a distant second place for its second weekend with $78 million domestically. Despite the science fiction seeing a dramatic 62% drop from its debut, its worldwide gross is already more than Spielberg's last two films combined.
I love you so much.
Curry Baker's Obsession hit another milestone this weekend. The supernatural horror crossed the $300 million mark worldwide, more than 400 times its original micro-budget. Happy birthday to Meryl Streep. The Academy Award winner turns 77 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
Hello.
All right, we kick things off with a simple way to have fun in the sun. All you need is a hose and some imagination. These kids are creating characters from movies by just laying in the driveway with a few props while their mom hoses them down. The result, core memories and cool silhouettes.
And you get to hose down your child.
Yeah, exactly.
Fun.
Oh, so great.
Yeah, if they were misbehaving earlier in the day, mom and dad get a little bit of catharsis from this.
I think my hose would have a little more water pressure than this one seems to.
Yeah.
The Jets.
2 kids under 5 on an airplane for 12 hours. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Next time you have to do a plank. Remember planking challenge back in the day? You want to complain about it, that it's hard. Just remember that a baby can do it.
Baby, are you planking?
She can barely walk, but she can plank like a pro. I'm right now just jealous at the amount of hair that she has because my Aria just has no hair. It's so blonde too.
Oh, Sadie has tons.
Everywhere we went to the airport, everywhere we went, oh, he's so cute. I mean, to be fair, I put her in a hockey shirt.
Yeah, that's your fault
That's my fault. Yeah, no big bow energy. My wife's always giving me grief. All right, we're going to plank our way into break. We're back after this. It's Monday, June 22nd.
And I will do everything I can to ensure an orderly handover of power.
Unpopular and beleaguered, the UK Prime Minister stepping down.
I have been fully committed to this team, to the city, and it's just becoming a distraction, frustrating to deal with.
The Ottawa Senators trading their captain away.
It's surreal, man. It's surreal.
It's history.
History. History. Yeah, Egypt. Yeah!
Love that guy. And an historic moment in Vancouver for Egypt at the World Cup. Stay with us, Saskatchewan. Your morning starts right now. Welcome to Your Morning Saskatchewan. I'm Daryl.
And I'm Kayleen. Good morning and happy Monday.
Kayleen would now like to regale you with the fact that she is better than me currently at CFL Fantasy Football.
So there are 6 people, all from CTV.
Only allows 6 teams, which is a problem.
Yeah, in the league. Lee Jones started it, and we got an invite. I am currently in 3rd in the league, right down the middle. I like that. And sorry, where are you?
I like to live in the basement. I'm more of a walkout suite kind of guy.
6 out of 6.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left. Still a lot of time. Let's get to news. You're probably still going to beat me. Several members of the Prime Minister's cabinet are in Tokyo today, joining a record number of Canadian executives on a trade mission. Judy Trin with a look at Team Canada's approach.
In the land of the rising sun, a Team Canada trade mission is attracting 175 Canadian companies to Tokyo, all eager to expand into the Japanese market. Helping to pave the way, Industry Minister Melanie Joly, Defense Minister David McGuinty, and Meninder Sidhu, the minister responsible for international trade.
But real opportunities in energy, in critical minerals, in defense, in artificial intelligence. So there's a complementary nature to our relationship.
Japan is the 3rd largest investor in Canada. There was more than $35 billion of goods traded between the two nations last year. But Mark Carney's embrace of China, Japan's biggest regional competitor, is clouding the outlook. In particular, the decision to remove nearly all tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles in exchange for the lowering of Chinese tariffs on canola and seafood. Once the deal expires at the end of the year, there's concern from some analysts China will demand more access for EVs and other goods at the expense of Japan.
It is a trusted partner. It is a G7 member. It is a fellow democracy with whom we have important strategic relationship. And we cannot jeopardize that relationship because we're trying to pursue diversification with China, a partner that has consistently shown itself to be unreliable, to use coercion against us and other democracies.
Over the next few days, Ministers Joly and Sidhu will meet with government officials and stakeholders at Toyota and Honda to discuss their concerns, while Minister McGuinty will pitch how Canadian technology can help keep Japan safe. Judy Trin, CTV News, Tokyo.
Canada and Australia have reached a new agreement worth $2.5 billion advancing Arctic defense.
This capability will significantly enhance Canada's Arctic domain awareness, detect and track air and maritime threats with much greater range, strengthen NORAD by providing earlier warning and improving continental defense, and reinforce Canada's Arctic sovereignty.
Now, this deal allows Canada to purchase key components for its new Arctic over-the-horizon radar system from BAE Systems Australia. It's part of a more than $6 billion investment into strengthening Canada's ability to detect and track air and maritime threats in the north. The radar network will include sites in southern Ontario and is expected to begin operating in 2029. Also going to create, they say, 2,300 jobs in Canada annually over the next 5 years. The union representing nearly 19,000 Canadian auto workers will start major labor negotiations today. Talks between Unifor and Ottawa's big three automakers will begin with Ford in Toronto today. Talks come as their collective agreements are set to expire on September 20th. Talks with Stellantis and General Motors are expected to follow. Unifor's national president says there are reasons they are starting with Ford, including the fact that Ford has maintained a Canadian footprint as the industry changes. Unifor says job security is paramount right now, with nearly 6,500 jobs lost in the sector since February 2025. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre will be speaking to reporters today in BC. Yesterday, he called out a joint plan by federal and BC governments aimed at boosting development of more homes in that province.
He wants to privatize the profit and socialize the losses. In other words, make you pay the price. This is a transfer of wealth by Mark Carney. It is a transfer of wealth from the have-nots to the have-yachts, who Mark Carney wants to bail out.
The plan involves lowering of charges for housing developers and the conversion of more than 2,000 vacant condo units into affordable housing. Poilievre has slammed the plan, calling it a bailout for developers. He's calling for its cancellation and instead wants red tape cut to the approval of homes. Saskatoon firefighters on the river this weekend. Jeremy, why?
Well, Daryl, it's not for any good reason. The Saskatoon Fire Department is continuing to search for a missing jet ski operator in the South Saskatchewan River. It began shortly before 5 p.m. Saturday. Saskatoon fire crews responding to a call regarding a jet ski rider going over the weir near the train bridge and 33rd Street. The fire department says crews responded with a specialized vessel designed for operations near the weir and initially launched a rescue, but that effort shifted to a recovery mission yesterday. SFD said the plan was to search both banks and the river downstream from the weir. They did recover the jet ski, turned it over to police. Pedestrian walkways in the area were closed. The public's being asked to avoid the riverbank and to contact police with any information. A 12-year-old is in hospital after they were struck by a vehicle on Saturday. Saskatoon police responding to a call in the 500 block of Manic Road shortly after 5 p.m. where a vehicle collided with a 12-year-old cyclist. The 12-year-old was taken to hospital with serious injuries but is in stable condition, and that collision still under investigation. Daryl, a new ceremonial space and sweat lodge now open in Regina.
Yeah, it is going to be known as the Old Woman Spider Place. The space provides healing under Indigenous teachings and cultural practices, as well as a space for people to come together. In addition to a dedicated ceremonial space, a kitchen, elder rooms, and sweat lodge also included. YWCA Regina says the new center complements its current programs and resources.
We see women who are in the midst of addiction, who are just starting to listen and just starting to hear the songs, see the fire starting, and this really is a catalyst for them to start down that road of healing.
To help operate the space, SGI Canada kicking in $2 million over 10 years. In other news this morning, the hype around the video game only growing with pre-orders starting this week. We are talking about Grand Theft Auto 6 releasing the first official cover art and announcing pre-orders for the game will officially begin this Thursday. The game is locked in for a November release date just in time for Christmas, but fans are still waiting for the next trailer. Some believe it could drop this week along with other pre-orders. There we go. The Ottawa Senators have traded their captain.
Of the third period, maybe here.
Brady Tkachuk has been traded for the Ottawa Senators. He's been captain since 2021, 463 points, 213 goals. They will get back, the Senators, a pair of first-rounders this year, a second-round pick in 2027, and another first-rounder in 2029. So if they draft well, they should be in a decent spot. Brady will now play with his brother Matthew on the Florida Panthers. Let's get over to the Weather Center. We'll join Kayleen Sawatsky. I missed you.
Oh, I missed you too. What did you miss most about me?
Not the rain.
The fact that I bring the rain. Yeah, no, I do that, but what can I do? I'm bringing more for you today, too. Morning View brought to you by Stars Lottery. Your ticket funds life-saving care across Saskatchewan. Not raining to start our day in Regina, although we do have a chance of seeing some later on into the afternoon. It also comes with a risk of a thunderstorm. Now, the chance is lower down through Regina compared to Saskatoon, through the Parkland region as well, where we're seeing the higher chances of seeing that rain and risk of thunderstorms. But it does still exist for us here in Regina. We're waking up to 14 degrees still, a mix of sun and cloud. And winds are very calm to start the day. They're currently coming in at 7 kilometers per hour. In Saskatoon, more of that cloud cover, a bit more of that fog. We've also been seeing that fog this morning in areas around North Battleford as well. 12 degrees right now and winds coming in at 19 kilometers per hour. Here's a look at that radar and satellite. It shows you where we got that precipitation late last night into those overnight hours and early this morning. Saskatoon, as you can see, got a little bit of that around the 5 o'clock time, and it started to taper off. By the time our show started at 6, it was mainly just cloudy in Saskatoon. Still seeing some of that around Prince Albert, though, this morning. As you can see, this is a current picture. Also seeing some of that rain falling in the Parkland region as well. Into the afternoon, we see more of that color popping up, especially around the Parkland region. So that indicates the higher risk of the thunderstorms over there in Yorkton. The risk of the thunderstorm also around Saskatoon as well. And as I mentioned, it exists for us here in Regina. It's just not quite as high. Into tomorrow morning, still seeing some of that precipitation. Into the afternoon tomorrow, it does expand before tapering off a little bit into those evening and overnight hours. It really disappears from the picture on Wednesday morning. This is at about 8:30 a.m. Things are looking really clear to start the day on Wednesday morning. It's actually into the afternoon that we see quite a bit of that precipitation popping up yet again. And yes, that does come yet again with the risk of the thunderstorms. For the total rainfall accumulations today, again, we're seeing more of that through central Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, 11 millimeters, about 4 for the Battleford's, about 3 for Prince Albert, and 5 for Yorkton. You're not seeing any of those accumulations down south, although in the very far southeast corner of the province, could be seeing some more of that. You're seeing more of that yellow and red color there. Today's forecast, looking below that seasonal average, 16 degrees is where we'll peak for Saskatoon, about 20 for Regina, though, 21 for Moose Jaw, and 16 degrees for Swift Current, 18 degrees for Yorkton, and 20 degrees for Estevan.
This day in history, June 22nd, 2016, Police Chief Mark Saunders expressed regret on behalf of the Toronto Police Service for the 1981 bathhouse raids. June 22nd, 1774, the British Parliament passed the Quebec Act, restoring French civil law in the colony and expanding the territory. And June 22nd, 1812, Laura Secord walked 32 kilometers to warn British troops of American plans for a surprise attack on the outpost of Beaver Dam near Queenston, Ontario. And
trying to drive forward again. Steve Hodges put it in the air, and Maradona jumps, and Maradona scores. England.
We're all World Cup all the time, which you can watch on TSN and Crave. 40 years ago today, the Universal League goal known as the Hand of God goal, Argentine star Diego Maradona scored against England in the quarterfinal of the World Cup in Mexico City.
Well, let's keep the World Cup hype going by meeting one of Mexico's most beloved figures at the World Cup. Check out Osito, 8-year-old poodle mix, a fan favorite in part because of his daily rides through Mexico on a bike. His outfit is noteworthy, too. He's always dressed in a Mexico shirt, sunglasses, and a cap. stealing hearts, drawing crowds of people hoping to get their selfie with Osito.
This poor dog, not because of the costume, which is fabulous, because of those glasses. I bought a couple pairs of those France glasses for my son and I. You cannot see through those things.
Oh.
They're horrible, horrible
really?
glasses. Yeah, they're just a bunch of little holes. They're terrible, terrible glasses.
Osito still looks like he's having fun.
Osito can't see where he's going. I'm glad he's not driving.
I mean, dogs can't drive, Daryl.
Come on now. It says you, not with that attitude. Question of the day time.
Question of the day today is, what is your favorite appetizer? It's National Onion Ring Day. We did have Ronald writing in saying that you do eat the shrimp tail. He agrees with Jeremy.
Recognize Ronald. Fist bump.
I am not somebody that eats the shrimp tails, but hey.
In this economy, who can even afford an appetizer?
That's right.
That's so true, yeah. Lori's saying it's got to be nachos with lots of cheese. I love that one. And then just one more answer today saying Amanda from Cottage Restaurant wants to say the Greek ribs there.
Okay.
Delicious.
Yum, yum, yum. Thanks for participating in our question of the day. We have health news scheduled right after this short break.
On Father's Day weekend, one Pennsylvania family celebrated a bond made stronger by the gift of life from father to son. Tracy Tuthope has their story.
Like, I'm probably one of the only few people that can say that COVID maybe saved my life.
While battling a severe case of COVID, 25-year-old Josh Zemzik learned he had a hidden disorder that caused advanced kidney failure. Within months, he was on dialysis and in need of a transplant.
We stood strong, alongside him, and I already knew what my purpose was, and that was to do whatever I had to do to make him better.
9 family members volunteered to be tested as potential living donors.
It was immediate response of just, full out support and trying to make sure I got better. So it was really cool.
Both his father, Ray, and his brother proving to be strong matches.
I was pretty insistent that I wanted to come from me because I was the oldest. My son's in the Marine Corps. He was the next one up, and he's still got a career to do. So it only made sense, and I thank God that I was healthy enough to do that for him.
Josh can still picture the moment his father chose to give him a second chance at life.
Yeah, it was very exciting. I remember I hugged Dad right in the kitchen when we found out. So no, it was awesome.
Even the doctor taking the lead during Josh's kidney implant surgery was inspired by this duo.
I know anyone would do anything for their kids. I definitely feel the same, but it's different when you really have to do something.
And now, a year later, Ray and Josh are back to golfing, sprucing up the backyard, cracking jokes, and spending time together. And this extraordinary gift from a father to his son has strengthened their bond forever.
Obviously he gave me an organ, so that's pretty close too. But but yeah, even before that, we were pretty much best friends. So that's been nothing but getting stronger ever since this happened, and I'm sure it's going to continue for a long, long time.
The fact that he's going to carry me the rest of his life, even after I perish, I can't even tell you how I think about that. So it's kind of a good thing.
Tracy Tuthope reporting.
Health Report, brought to you in part by SEIU West, Saskatchewan's first healthcare union.
All right, let's head back out one more time to Mike Siona and see what is going on at Venvi, the Franklin.
Well, we are getting a taste of what it would be like to live in one of these beautiful suites here at Venvi, the Franklin, with Megan Potter, the executive director, and we find ourselves in the show suite. These places are gorgeous.
Aren't they? They are. All of our suites are beautifully renovated so that you feel nice and cozy and make it your home in a beautiful setup. Every room has a kitchenette. Like I said earlier, we don't need a full kitchen because your meals are all included in your rent for you, and we'll cover your utilities as well. Yeah.
But we did spend a lot of time talking about some of the different activities for the residents, and I know Charlene, highlighted some of the great amenities that she enjoys living here. And really, all those inclusions, it's all included in that price, right?
It is, and we've just reduced our rates for a summer promotion, so now is the time to come check them out and get moved in.
Fantastic. I mean, it's beautiful. This particular one is a 2-bedroom, I think in excess of 1,200 square feet in this unit. Lots of space. Do people kind of be like, oh, wow, I didn't know retirement living could be like this?
It is, yeah, and we do have units, or suites rather, that fit any lifestyle you're looking for. So we've got everything from studios to these beautiful big 2-bedrooms.
And so many different activities going on for the residents. As we mentioned, they have the bus and all of the stuff going on in the rec room, and obviously the meals down here. The people that aren't in this ecosystem, I keep calling it that, but they have an opportunity to come and experience it on the weekend?
Yeah, on Saturday we'll be having an event, so come listen to some live music, and we'll give you a tour around and show you the place.
Fantastic. Venvy, the Franklin, pretty cool in here.
The new documentary is This Ordinary Thing. It comes from award-winning filmmaker Nick Davis, and he joins us today. In the past, you have done documentaries about sports, about the entertainment industry. Most recently, you had to be there about the Godspell production in Toronto in the early 70s. This is about people saving Jews during the Holocaust. Was there something about our time and place, or what compelled you to make this documentary?
I think it was the goodness that these people exhibited that was something that I just couldn't turn away from once I found these stories. It felt like I just felt like I was so admiring of these people and what they did, putting their lives at risk to save people who were allegedly different from them, simply because they were being persecuted. As one of the characters says in the film, it didn't matter if they were Catholic or Jews or Eskimos. They were persecuted people, and you had to help them. And that sort of vision that these people all had and took action on was just something I couldn't not do once I was presented with it. I didn't know about any of this. I had heard of Oscar Schindler, and I knew there were a few people who had helped. But my executive producer, Al Tapper, he suggested this to me as a possible topic. And I investigated it and found these unbelievable transcripts. These interviews had been conducted in the 80s by these two wonderful women, Gay Block and Malka Drucker. And all their interviews were at the U.S. Holocaust Museum. And reading those transcripts and watching those interviews, you just were overwhelmed. And I thought, well, let's do a film here. Let's get actors to read the words. Many of them were, in different languages, had to be translated. And some of them just, it just felt like that's a way to bring them to life rather than listening to these recordings from the 80s.
You have quite the cadre of actors, Oscar winners, Emmy winners. I'll just Jeremy Irons, Helen Mirren, Stephen Fry, David Hyde Pierce, Marcia Gay Harden. It's a wealth of talent there. How did you go about finding these actors, first of all, and convincing them they should be a part of this project?
We got very, very lucky. For the longest time, I had just asked my friends, many of whom are either actors or ham actors, and to record the voices and then send them in, and then we edited it with that. And my wife and creative partner kept saying, when are you going to get real actors? And I was sort of thinking, well, why would they do this? And so we put the word out to quote-unquote real actors, and for the longest time didn't hear back from any of them. And then one day, out of the blue, got a phone message that changed the life of this production. Dame Helen Mirren wants to be in your film. And that opened the floodgates. I think what it is that actors are trained in the art of empathy. And these stories are stories about people who were amazing at empathy. They saw these people who were being hounded as no different from them.
Just before we go, what do you hope people come away with once they see this film?
Well, I hope that they will come away with the feeling that, yeah, it's a window into a time and place they don't know, but it sure does feel very relevant. And it sure does relate to what many of us are going through now.
Always a pleasure speaking with you. Nick Davis, the director, the filmmaker behind This Ordinary Thing, a brand new documentary. We want to thank you for your time today, and hopefully we'll get a chance to speak again in the future.
That would be fun. This was great. Thanks so much.
Good morning. It is 8:28. Here's what's making news on this Monday. We begin with Canada's inflation rate rising dramatically in May, hitting 3.2%. Stats Canada says the consumer price index increased 3.2% year over year in May, up from a 2.8% increase in April. Rising gas prices fueled by global uncertainty, as you can imagine, caused by the conflict in the Middle East and the Strait of Hormuz closure, continues to drive inflation. But of special concern when gasoline is removed from the equation, the CPI still rose at a faster pace year over year in May, coming in at 2.2% compared to the 2% increase in April. The agency in charge of wildfire response in Saskatchewan is about to see a shakeup in leadership. CTV News has learned a senior official will retire following a review of last year's unprecedented wildfire season. CTV's Alison Bamford has reaction from those who lost everything in the flames.
1 year after wildfires destroyed most of Denair Beach in northern Saskatchewan, many still can't describe their emotions.
I can't put words to it. Nobody can put words to it. It's horrific. It's terrifying.
And frustrating, says Dustin Tremblay, who lost his house in the flames.
There was nothing left.
Earlier this month, he called for the resignation of top officials at the Saskatchewan Public Safety Agency, which is in charge of the province's wildfire response.
When you make the calls and make the decisions that you made, you have to own up to them.
He's now happy to learn a senior leader is leaving. CTV News confirmed the SPSA and Steve Roberts, vice president of operations, mutually agreed to advance his retirement date after 20 years of service. Roberts' departure follows an independent review into last year's unprecedented wildfire season, finding the SPSA was not fully prepared, while outlining 11 recommendations to improve the province's wildfire response.
And that's what my fight has always been about. It's not about money, it's about accountability.
514 fires forced more than 10,000 people from their homes last year, including Rhonda Werbicki, who lost everything in the Denair Beach fire.
I just want people to learn, and I just don't want any other community to ever have to go through what we went through, because I really think that this could have been prevented.
The report's recommendations include planning for recruitment and training before the wildfire season begins. The SPSA says it will start searching for a new VP of operations immediately, and that replacement will help implement the recommendations. Alison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
In the west, crews battling the Saw Creek wildfire are trying to protect structures south of Lytton, BC. Penny Daflos explains why the raging flames are triggering terrible memories.
It reached 29 degrees today here in Lytton, and while the smoke above the eastern side of the village still doesn't look good, it is an improvement over where it was earlier, and there haven't been any new evacuations today. Nonetheless, the timing of this evacuation alert and those fires is really hitting a nerve. The evacuation orders remain in effect for the eastern edge of Lytton, exactly where the helicopters have been bucketing water nonstop through the day. The wind has generally been favorable and visibility has been good, so the mayor is optimistic, but the risk comes 5 years nearly to the day since the village was nearly entirely wiped out by a devastating wildfire.
To be so close to the anniversary is like, you know, who decided to play a bad joke, because it's not funny. You know, you look around now, a lot of our fuel was removed in 2021, and so some of the threats to the village here itself aren't as imminent as they might have been.
The rebuild is well underway, but there's still a long way to go. There's only one route to Lytton right now, and it's from the north. Much of Highway 1 and the Fraser Canyon remains closed due to the wildfire risk, with really poor air quality throughout the area south of here. Now, the wildfire danger rating here for Lytton is rated as extreme, and there are other pockets that are ranked at that top end of the scale. But much of the Kamloops Fire Center is still rated as a high fire danger rating. So officials are saying make sure to have that go bag if you live or are coming into this area, even if you don't see smoke.
From the severe weather and flooding and out of control wildfires burning in Utah that have forced evacuations there. Melissa Adon reports.
This morning, several raging wildfires forcing mandatory evacuations in Utah. The Iron Fire, the biggest of 11 wildfires across the state, fueled by high winds, heat and dry conditions, burning more than 22,000 acres southwest of Provo. The flames erupting Friday, growing rapidly over the weekend as firefighters struggled to contain it.
It's just real sad. They rode and off-roaded in these mountains and a lot of memories, and they're all pretty much just gone, burned up.
The flames bearing down on the town of Eureka. Firefighters working to protect threatened homes.
That's way closer than anybody wants it to be. We're all packed up, ready to go.
Officials say the fire was human caused, but no further details have been shared. About an hour west of Salt Lake City, the Hastings fire growing to 6,000 acres.
It doesn't take much for those winds to carry that fire and those embers through the dry fuels.
And the Bonneville fire burning nearly 500 acres above hospitals and the University of Utah, where a shelter in place was issued. It has since been lifted and a safety notice remains. Melissa Adon, ABC News.
It's hot in Europe, with half of France now under red heat alerts. An intense and widespread heat wave has left 49 of France's 96 regions under alert. Highs of more than 40 degrees Celsius are expected across parts of western France today, with the mercury expected to hit 43 in Bordeaux. Hundreds of schools have been shut down as a result. Not much AC in France, if you don't know that. Not much relief in sight either. Temperatures are not expected to drop until the end of the week. Heat also impacting the UK, with a rare heat warning there for parts of England and Wales for later this week. Edmonton residents are being told to stop non-essential water use as the city's stormwater system struggle to keep up with all the rain that's been falling there.
And it's coming directly from the storm pond.
Alberta Emergency Alert has issued an overland flood advisory for the city of Edmonton. That city and several surrounding regions have been overwhelmed by rain from an intense weather system that hit central and northern Alberta over the weekend. Downtown Edmonton has seen 95 millimeters of rain, with Stony Plain topping out at 123. EPCOR, the power agency there, says it has received more than 600 calls about concerns about pooling and flooding. Now to severe weather hitting the U.S. Here's Ginger Z.
It was a deadly and destructive weekend from parts of Kansas to Indiana. More than 50 reported twisters since Friday. Watch the surveillance camera in Newburgh, Indiana. Debris flying, lights flickering as the tornado sweeps through. Several homes and businesses damaged, including this retirement community where people were reportedly trapped. In Jefferson County, Illinois, at least 2 people were killed, 5 others injured. Dozens of tornado reports like this one spotted in Texaco.
You can see debris flying up in the air.
And another forming just miles down the road. And in Kansas, our station KAKE reporting that 1 person was killed after an EF2 tornado sliced through Sedgwick County early Sunday morning, destroying this home. Ginger Z, ABC News, New York.
The Saskatoon Mamba ran their win streak to 4 games last night.
Kicks it. Dunn Martin thought about it. The 3 is up and it rattles in. Tavian Dunn Martin wins it.
Tavian Dunn Martin hitting the game-winning 3 to beat the Ottawa Blackjacks. He had a game-high 34 points. Let's get over to the Weather Center now with Kayleen Sawatsky. Kayleen, rain, go away. Hope those farmers have the crops all in the ground.
Well, thankfully, we've started to see the rain kind of pulling away from the Regina area today. The chance of seeing the rain is going down. It still exists, but it's down by quite a bit. Still expecting to see quite a bit of rain, rather, in the areas right around Saskatoon, though. 14 degrees to wake you up in Regina. Winds are very low, currently coming in at 7 kilometers per hour, and we are seeing that mix of sun and cloud to start the day. In Saskatoon, we were seeing more of that rain earlier on this morning. That is very very likely to be returning for your afternoon. Right now, it's a bit of a cloudy break from that precipitation. Currently sitting at 12 degrees still, so we haven't really been warming up all too much in the past couple hours here. The hot spot in the province is still La Ronge. They've been holding on to that steady title this morning. 18 degrees, 12 degrees in Prince Albert, 16 in Hudson Bay down in the south. Still seeing that cold spot as East End, 9 degrees, 11 degrees through Assiniboia, 12 degrees through Yorkton, and 14 degrees through Estevan. Here's a look at later on into the afternoon. These temperatures, as we've been talking about, far below that seasonal average for many places. Saskatoon, the average this time of year is about 24 degrees, and we're only expecting to be peaking around 16 degrees this afternoon. The risk of seeing some of those thunderstorms higher through areas around Saskatoon and Yorkton today, lower through Regina, although you do still see the icon there because the chance does still exist. It's just a lot lower. 20 degrees for Regina today, 20 degrees for Weyburn, and 20 degrees for Estevan as well. Here's a look at that total rainfall expected by about 12:30 a.m. About 3 millimeters expected for Prince Albert. The number has gone down quite a bit for Saskatoon, but has remained high for Yorkton, about 12 millimeters on tap, about 5 for the Battlefords. And then now we're looking at about 1 millimeter in areas around Swift Current, Regina, and Estevan. Your 7-day forecast looks quite daunting, but don't panic as you look at it. We're seeing a higher chance of seeing some of that thunderstorm activity around Tuesday. It does go down by quite a bit for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so we could be seeing a break on those days, but the ingredients are still there, so we're going to warn you about it. Saturday, though, a higher chance of just seeing some of that rainfall coming down. Sunday as well, we're seeing a higher chance of seeing some of that rain. So it's going to be quite a damp weekend, what we're seeing on the radar for now. In Saskatoon, we're seeing the risk of a thunderstorm continue on through until Wednesday. It goes down quite a lot by Thursday and Friday. We will be seeing the sun coming out. And then Saturday and Sunday, again, as mentioned, it's going to be a wet one. We're looking at about 23 degrees on Saturday with that rain and 19 by Sunday.
Breaking news this hour, one person is under arrest after Melville RCMP officers were injured in a shooting. This one happened June 21st, just after 9:30 p.m. Officers were responding to reports of an assault on 8th Avenue West. Police believed the person to be armed and SWAT was called in. A firearm was discharged at officers and 2 officers were struck. Both were transported to hospital by EMS with serious injuries described as serious in nature. At about 2 in the morning, the suspect and another person left that home. Serious Crime says no charges have been laid at this point, but they may expect some to come. We'll continue to follow that as details become available. They will be available for you at ctvregina.ca and ctvsaskatoon.ca. We're back after this.
Hollingsworth in Blockhouse, Nova Scotia, tonight on CTV National News. A Canadian mom's natural tick repellent now backed by science.
We are shedding light on understanding how ticks work.
The home kitchen recipe crossing borders with the promise of limiting Lyme disease. Tonight on CTV National News and ctvnews.ca.
All right, let's head back out one more time and check in with Arden Lloyd, checking out some senior living at the Bentley.
One final time at the Bentley here in Regina. I'm joined by Max and Margaret, who just recently celebrated a very special anniversary. Margaret, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, my husband and I celebrated our 65th wedding anniversary last year, and we had it here at the Bentley. And I spoke to management, and they just took over, and we had a wonderful celebration. Tables were set up. The food was great. We catered the food through the kitchen here, and we had access to the bar, and we had about 100 people, and it was just great.
Well, that's terrific. And speaking of the food, it's breakfast time, Sean.
Yes, yeah. And we found the staff to be very professional.
That's terrific. And we got Eggs Benedict here this morning. Is that the favorite? Is that the go-to, Max?
It's very good. It looks excellent. It's probably going to taste better.
Well, I'm certainly hungry here, just waiting for it. And this Friday, there's another event here at the Bentley. garden party from 1 to 4. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
For sure. So we're opening up the doors. We're hoping we'll get great weather and we can be out on the patio. So anyone who'd like to enjoy the Bentley, come and check us out. We'll have some music, some sweet tea on the patio. We're really looking forward to our garden party.
Well, a delightful experience to be sure, not just this Friday, but here living at the Bentley day in, day out. The convenience, you don't even have to cook your own breakfast. And it is crafted to perfection. Juice, coffee, pancakes, waffles, and everything in between, only here at the Bentley.
For our Fun Monday segment where we learn why we say some of the common sayings around town. Let's see what today's is. Today we're asking you, why do we say eat crow? Eat crow, of course. Kayleen, have you heard this one before?
No, I have no idea what this means.
To eat crow is to you say something bold perhaps, and then you have to walk it back. Or somebody makes you eat your words, right? Okay.
Have a slice of humble pie.
That's another way to say it, right?
Okay,
so why do we say that, do you think, Jeremy?
Well, obviously, crow tastes terrible, so no one's going to like to do it. It's got to be a punishment of some sort, but I cannot think of where this originally came from.
This feels like an Edgar Allan Poe type of thing way back in London in the 20s. Kayleen, any guess?
I'm going to go with Jeremy's option, that a crow would taste bad.
Okay, so here's 90 seconds from Noel explaining why we say eat crow.
Well, this one comes from 19th century American slang, and it seems to have originated around 1850. We have a short story, a comic story that circulated around various newspapers about a dim-witted farmer who had boarders, and the boarders complained about the food, and he boasted, well, he could eat anything. So as a kind of test or punishment, he was forced to eat an actual crow, a boiled crow, which was probably quite disgusting. And so that seems to be the core of it. 10 years later, there's a reference to it referring to newspaper editors who have to retract statements or change opinions that they've advocated, usually political ones. And then by the 1880s, it's more generally used as a term used again to retract or repent a statement that you've made, and to sort of undergo this public humiliation. So that seems to be the origin. I think what fascinates me and others, I guess, about some of these expressions is that sometimes they're not just interesting metaphors, but they actually capture something of the experience and the concept in a way that saying humiliation just doesn't. And it's this awful thing that's come out of your mouth that you now have to re-ingest. Blah.
Noel is a fountain of knowledge.
I've learned that I just got to stick with Jeremy. Jeremy gets it right.
I was off by about 30 years at least. Kudos to you, Mr. Dodge. That is, why do we say that?
They knew you. Jesse, Buzz, Woody, and a tuneful Taylor Swift joining forces to lift Pixar's Toy Story 5 to an all-time wow of a weekend.
We're going to need backup.
The fifth film in what might be Disney's most beloved franchise, serving up a Toys vs. Tech-rific $160 million U.S. opening. Best in Toy Story history, and best of what's looking like a bountiful 2026 at the box office.
We're at $4.46 billion right now. The magic number that we want to get back to is $10 billion. That's been the number we've been chasing since the pandemic, and it was very important to get off to a good start.
The summer season already off to a strong start. Michael hitting a high note. Now the top-grossing musical biopic of all time.
What kind of spells you put on her?
And some serious surprises as audience favorites, like Obsession and Back Rooms.
Look, I know how this sounds, but you gotta understand, it's massive in there.
Those two micro-budgeted horror films, directed by straight-outta YouTube 20-somethings. Astonishing Hollywood with 9-figure grosses.
Films that are really doing well are films aimed at young people. They keep wanting to come back and back, so you're creating more lifelong theater goers.
On the horizon, a live-action Moana. 19-year-old newcomer Catherine Lanaya in the title role, and Dwayne Johnson in the flesh this time as Maui.
It's true, I do have beautiful hair.
But wait, there's more.
Well, sorry about that. You're not one of my students, are you?
Spider-Man Brand New Day with newlyweds Tom Holland and Zendaya, and John Bernthal taking the Punisher to the big screen.
If you're gonna do something, you better do it now.
A double feature for Tom Holland next month, also in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey.
My dad is coming home.
Along with stars like Robert Pattinson, new mom-to-be Anne Hathaway, and as the man of twists and turns, as that beard, Matt Damon as Odysseus. Desire to see The Odyssey opening weekend in Nolan's preferred 70mm IMAX format, said to be leading fans to offer 10 times face value for tickets. An on-screen mix of the familiar and the fantastic, looking to fill seats all summer long.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's just something about movie theaters in summertime. And it's not just the air conditioning either. A lot of excitement in the weeks yet to come. Chris Connolly, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Well, let's kick off Take Your Pet to Work Week by meeting a cat who actually has a job, guardian of the bones. Danny New has these details.
Excuse me, I'm trying to film you here.
As we kick off Take Your Pet to Work Week,
You gonna do it? You gonna jump?
we're meeting a cat who actually has a job, guardian of the bones.
We have people coming to the museum just to see the cat. We have people that come to the museum not even knowing that we have a cat, and they leave so excited.
His name is Bone Jovi, and he's in charge of security here at the Bone Museum in Brooklyn. Thanks to the now dated medical bone trade, this establishment is home to the largest displayed collection of human remains on the East Coast, and Chief Jovi makes sure no intruders go near it.
Not the microphone wire. No, bone, please.
Not even an evil microphone cord. Over the past year, Bone Jovi has become a bit of a celebrity with the museum's millions of followers on social media. After he was adopted from Best Friends Animal Society during an adoption event almost exactly 1 year ago.
We immediately saw Bone Jovi. He was the chubbiest, calmest cat out of the bunch.
With Bone Jovi's approval, Operations Director Masha Potemkin was permitted to give me a brief tour of the collection.
Right now we have over 180 real spinal columns,
which features the country's largest display of accessible spines and even some bones you can touch.
This is someone's real foot?
Yes. And a fun fact about this one is this person had actually broken one of their toes at one point. You can see it right here.
But if you're not into gaining an osteological education, many people just come in here to meet this spooky kitty.
Oh, he's got a little bone collar.
Who has a bone collar and a skeletal fish toy. And he's serious about his craft. Look what happened when I tried to bring him a regular-looking fish toy.
This is called flesh. He prefers the bone one.
And the name Bone Jovi was voted on by more than 20,000 fans, and the TikTok account of the actual band, Bon Jovi, did comment on his video saying, quote, "Security is tight." In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Perfectly tight.
I think that's a great story.
I can understand why they're getting into it. That's a lot of people.
Jeremy, you look a little disturbed. Would you go to the Bone Museum?
I'm not entirely sure of the purpose of that place.
You can learn a lot about anatomy.
Medical something.
I guess.
You get to see a cat.
Yeah.
Maybe Danny New and a fish toy. Let's get to our last sidebar for this Monday. Drone operator in California captures some heart-stopping moments off the coast of Santa Cruz. Take a look. A shark spotted circling below the surface around a surfer. The surfer probably took an Instagram photo. At one point, did swim away, did get away. It's not known whether the surfer had any idea the shark was actually circling him at the time, but I bet you knows now.
Yeah, I would never go in the ocean again.
Oh, man. Oh, that's awful.
Lunch?
Can we tell what kind of shark it is? I wish the script said that.
Not a hungry one.
Yeah.
Swam away.
Well fed.
All filled up.
Not going to have that one.
All right. Stormy weather in the southeastern United States kept some people indoors, but not everyone. The heavy rain and strong winds made for some challenging but fun surfing conditions, and a number of surfers took advantage of it. They certainly can't be accused of being fair weather surfers, but we haven't seen drone footage. We don't know if the sharks were there.
Maybe the shark was swimming, yeah. Who's pushing that surfboard?
Yikes.
Jeremy, got just enough time for one more from you.
All right, more World Cup stuff. There is a bond growing between the city of Boston and Scotland's soccer fans.
Just don't make you understand. He's Stephen Clark's man. He's there as an hand. We've got sympathy.
Yeah, Boston and Glasgow have confirmed they'll become twin cities after Scottish fans have descended on the area for the World Cup and have grown close.
Hooligans, all of them. World Cup action continues on TSN and Crave throughout the day. We'll see you tomorrow.